Well, fuck me. Chase, great seeing you, bro. Angela's great meeting you. Y'all go to Renfest for real.
All right, what's up, y'all? LSU gave it a hell of a go, man, but they come up short against Alabama, 20-14. It's your final score. Welcome here to Whiskey and Wine inside of Don Juan Cigar Bar in Town Center. If you're on Facebook, do us a solid, like the page, share the post, like the page, share the post. YouTube, smash that like button. Let this thing build up a little bit here. Man, it's super conflicting, man. Nobody gave LSU a shot in hell, me and everybody else included. But they played
the boys played a hell of a game tonight,
they did, man. They gave it a hell of a run.
They fucking played
ultimately
a whole bunch of backup, second string, never was, never has been. That just fucking hurts, dude. God,
I think
damn.
I think the boxing analogy that they used in the first half was right. LSU avoided the first round knockout. You got to the middle rounds. They managed to win a few here and there. You're fucking in a fight, man. And they had a shot late, just didn't make the plays. So, man, it's really a bummer. The turnovers at the end of the first half and the start of the second half, which led to 13 points for Bama. I mean, that's the difference in the ballgame. I mean, it's oversimplifying it, but that's it. You had two very costly turnovers, which led to 13 points for Alabama, and there's your difference. So,
and it's kind of fucking wild to think about because, like, for LSU even to be in this position, Matt, you would have thought that the opposite would have been true, right? Like, you would have thought Alabama would have turned over a couple times and LSU would have scored, and then that's how they were, like, down by 6 at the end of the game. And
bro, it was like it was like the Florida game. You were going to need 4 turnovers.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's exactly the analogy, the comp. So anyway,
I mean, the defense play. I mean, we'll get into it, but the defense played their fucking ass off tonight.
Let's start the way that we always do here. We're going to get this thing rolling. We'll do our toast here and we'll get started. So everybody, grab your glass. Win or lose. This is how we'll start it. So. Y'all know the drill. Grab whatever you got. If it's a beer, if it's a cocktail, if it's water, if it's Coke, whatever you got. Join us with a little toast. I appreciate everybody takes a picture, of yourself toasting with us. Tweet us. You can tweet me. You can even include tons of fun here, and he'll retweet you too. So to the Tigers, cheers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
It's actually not a bad night to cheer Go Tigers, man. Fucking valiant effort put on by the boys.
All right. I don't know if you want to go ahead and start, I'll keep sharing all this stuff out. But you, like always, you monitor YouTube. I'll monitor Facebook comments.
Yeah, I got YouTube on lock. We'll go ahead and keep letting people get in here. I mean, look, I think I'm going to start at the most obvious point.
By the way, how annoying is it that there's 15 people in the little bay next to us losing their shit cheering for Alabama?
That is a little unfortunate. That's a little unfortunate. We have some Alabama fans right next to us. They were fucking stressing, and so now – as you can hear, they're fucking ecstatic. Jake, you're good. Jake, you're good.
No, they're good. No, they can't hear
it. You're good. You're good. Let him be.
No, for sure.
We got to, yeah, I know. Oh, for a lighter.
Oh, you need the lighter.
Get a lighter.
Oh,
my bad.
God,
I was making sure you weren't trying to quiet anybody down.
No, as we learned when I yelled at what's-his-face, the dickhead I yelled at.
Bilbo Baggins.
Yeah, that asshole.
That's Bilbo. No, Bilbo's cool,
when I yelled at, no, come on.
Bilbo's cool, dude. Relax.
He was a drunk dickface who needed to get the fuck out of the shot.
No. Bilbo's a fucking man. Nah, I don't stand by that opinion.
He's a dumb dickface who tried to make the show about himself, and I yelled at him, and nobody could hear because I took the headset mic off.
Okay, so I feel like we all have a lot of misdirected anger going on right now.
No, that dude's just a stupid fuckstick. Give me the lighter.
Okay, here we go, dude. Here we go. All I have is this shitty lime green Bic lighter. Is this what you want? Let's fucking ride.
Anything that'll work, bro.
Let's fucking ride. So, no, man, I start where everybody else did. LSU greatly outperformed expectations. And it was hugely exciting, right? I expected this to be akin to, like, you know how when you were a little kid and you knew you were about to get fucked up by your parents? Like you knew you were about to get spanked?
No.
You never? Okay. Well, anytime there were certain times in my life when I fucked up and I knew when I got home there was going to be hell to pay.
The cannon was coming for you?
So all I'm saying is, dude, this had that feeling. And this was a bit like taking that spanking and then looking your father defiantly in the eye and saying, is that all you have, bitch? Because, yeah, okay, you're still dominant over me in the end, but guess what? You're a fucking pussy a little bit, dude. A little bit, but honestly, kind of. Because that's kind of what LSU did at Alabama tonight. Like, I mean, fuck them, dude. I get it. Alabama won. We'll break down the game. Fuck all that shit. This team that's supposed to be second in the nation, this team that the fucking playoff committee puts 2 in the country, get the fuck out of here, dude. This is not a good LSU team. This is an LSU team that is down an entire starting defense.
I know, bro.
Half of the starting offense. And yet they took him toe-to-toe. They took him toe-to-toe to the point where we are going to debate a field goal call. We will debate a field goal versus fourth down conversion, which should have never been debated given the context of these teams coming in.
Now, for the
Fuck
record,
Alabama.
For the record, I said for everybody to hear.
I knew you were about to say this.
No, because,
I knew you were going to say
because
this.
the last game we had this as well. But, like, seriously, I mean, you would have been in a position, all else equal, for Cade York to at least attempt a 58-yarder to tie at the end.
So,
I know it doesn't come down to that. I know.
So,
no.
And
it's not a bad decision. It's the same thing we discussed in the last game. It's not a bad decision to go for it on 4th and goal from the 7. Like, I'm okay with that decision. I know Cade York's a weapon, and if you get a stop, you don't need a touchdown. You just need to get in Cade York's range. So that's all.
So, okay, Matt, you know what? That was incredibly measured, and unfortunately, as much as I would like to, I think I agree with everything you just said. Like, I agree the context of how the game played out afterwards, it's like, yeah, you should have fucking kicked it, but
I did say it at the moment.
Yes, but like you said, I also understand the motivations for going for it there versus kicking the field goal. I mean, your offense didn't do shit.
Yeah. Are you going to get the ball back?
Ultimately, think about this, dude. So this is my only, like, you know, we sit here and we try to take notes. We try to come up with.
We do? Let me see your notes.
What do you mean? I got page of notes.
Okay.
I only got 3 pages of notes tonight. Normally I have about 7 or 8, so I'm a little behind that. But the point, but it's kind of for the night, right? But the point is that
oh, that hurts, dude. God, that fucking hurts.
Yeah, it fucking hurts. But but it's better. But it's better this way. It is better this way, dude. At least they showed fight and they came out and they didn't just fucking roll over and get their ass beat by Alabama, which everybody thought was going to happen. Yeah. I did lose my train of thought, though. I forgot what I was going to say.
I'll tell you what, man. I'll roll a little bit here. I'm going to say some what's ups to the people watching on Facebook. Of course, you got YouTube. Simon Hotard, what's up? Best kicker in the country, 6 points off the field goals would have been nice. Yeah, but the flip side of it, too, is, look, I mean, Bama doinked one off the crossbar and missed a PAT. That's 4 points that if they convert, then LSU's in a must go for the touchdown.
Well, there's a context of, like, you weren't moving the fucking ball at all.
No
sorry. Here's what I was thinking about, Matt, is that our job is to come up with, like, interesting critical thinking points, right? And tonight, I only think I stumbled upon one.
Okay.
Only 1 point. And that is, how good could Kayshon Boutte be in a functional, mechanically sound offense? And the reason why I'm saying this is because look at LSU's offense after Kayshon Boutte has been out. And I know the Florida game's a bit an outlier, but the Florida game is an outlier in every single regard, right?
You're right. Yeah, that's fair.
It feels like there is a black hole in this LSU offense. Like this undeniable black hole that is sucking in all rhythm, all success, all threat. I mean, this LSU offense feels a little feckless right now. Like, there's no threat there. There's no teeth. There's no danger to any of it. Kayshon Boutte brought all of those elements. And so I guess my overall thought is that, first off, you're obviously horribly missing him right now. I mean, on a night like tonight, he literally might be the 7-point difference. Just look at what he did all year long. Yep. But more so than that, if we want to be optimistic about the future, like, okay, I've been thinking a lot about Ole Miss lately. Ole Miss is missing all their fucking O-linemen. They're missing everybody, right? And they're still finding a way to be functionally successful because of their scheme and their base mechanics are super fucking sound. What happens if you put Kayshon Boutte in an offense that is that functionally and schematically sound? Like, he could be fucking incredible because without him, you just don't You just don't have the alpha dude. You have nobody that truly threatens the
Yeah.
defense. Like Jack Besh
No
is
doubt.
good, and I fucking love Jack
No doubt.
Besh. And I like Malik Neighbors. They're young. They could be that guy. They could end up being that guy eventually. But right now, you have nobody that the defense truly fucking fears and has to account for. And I felt like now, last week, I just felt that Kayshon Boutte absence so tangibly. I could feel it. And it hurt, but it does, in a weird way, it makes me excited for the future and what he could be, depending on where you go next.
We'll do some game flow here in a second. A lot of people, I'm reading a lot of the comments that are talking about Max Johnson, so we'll get to there. Shout out to Don Juan Cigar Bar, where we are in Town Center, our home for whiskey and wine. It's a phenomenal spot. I mean, this place is buzzing tonight. It's really cool. I mean, I know you weren't here last year, but, last year with the COVID, it was so it was just, it was so random when you could or couldn't have people here. It's awesome to be in here with just, it's packed and there's TVs everywhere. It's popping. It's a great spot to come watch the game. Top shelf liquor, draft beer, great cigar selection as well. TVs everywhere. Great for your NFL games as well. So Don Juan Cigar Bar in Town Center. We're also presented by Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Locations all over the U.S. So even if you're not in Louisiana, they got 6 calibration labs in Louisiana, but 29 offices in 11 different states. As they always say, you weigh or measure something. They sell, service, and rent the products you use to weigh and measure. Check them out at Michelli.com.
You already know I love AccuTemp, dude. AccuTempBR.com. You can see it on my back. What do you
Jake needs a lighter.
What are you pointing to? Okay, here we go. Look. Oh, God, I don't know if I can turn like that. AccuTempBR.com. Look, man, any AC, heating, or electrical needs. It's wintertime right now. Matt, it felt pretty fucking good outside today. That's something positive.
Yeah.
And if you need to get your heater checked out, 31996, $59 tune-up deal. And then look, just look up the fucking reviews on AccuTemp, okay? They're incredible. You've never experienced anything like it. AccuTempBR.com.
706 watching on Facebook. Please like the page, share the post. 1576 watching there on YouTube.
With 100 likes, get
Smash
it up. I know
like
we're all fucking sad, but hit
Smash
the
like button. If you're watching on your phone, just X out of the live chat, hit the thumbs up. Come right back into the live chat. You'll see your spot there. So, let's see. Andrew Hines, Frank Alello, David Foote, Shane Smith, Vino Frazier. What's up, y'all? All right, Max Johnson. So,
I got a couple super chats, or do you want to go through game flow? Up to you.
No, we can do super chats. That's fine. I just want to talk about Max Johnson because we said we would.
Okay, yeah.
Before if the super chats are going to cycle off. Look, I mean, Max didn't play great, but Max hasn't played great all year. And I guess at this point, I just kind of, he is what I expect him to be. Has he not played
great all year, or has he not played great?
I don't think he's played great all year.
Great, okay, great to yeah.
I think he's
great to high bar.
Tell me one game where you're like he was the difference in the game.
The problem is that there's games that I thought that he was good to great, but I think
Where?
on the most part,
when?
I thought he was really solid against Mississippi State in the wins. right, in the big wins, I thought he played fine.
I don't think he was great in the Florida game. That was Ty Davis Price running for almost 300 yards. We just haven't. But Matt,
but there was that point where he was like leading the nation in touchdowns, and they were like, it was. There was an argument to be made.
There was also a time when LSU was leading the nation in sacks. When you're playing shitty teams.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. But that's the only information that we had to go off of, right? So there was an idea out there that, okay, maybe Max hasn't been overwhelming or to what you wanted him to be, but statistically he's still getting the job done. They were still okay. There was a lot of growth. There was a lot of growth potential there, and unfortunately, for the first time, it feels like now you've gone beyond stagnating. You feel like you've taken multiple steps back in a lot of ways with this offense.
The thing with Max Johnson that I want primarily, there's a fucking fox on the field. Oh my God, there's a goddamn fox on the field. Oh, my God. It's running through the goddamn stands now. That's at Arizona State. Fucking fox came out of the desert.
Foxes are fast.
Saw that shit? Wow.
He climbed those stairs quick, dude.
If you're watching this on Sunday, you'll just go to YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, and you'll see that fucking video of the fox running off the field. Here's my thing with Max. I don't think Max is great. I don't think they've won a game because of Max, but he's also been the guy that's not going to lose you the game. He's only thrown 5 interceptions all season.
Okay, that's fair.
You know what I
that's
mean?
Fair, yeah.
I know everyone's his game manager, and I think that's probably fair with him. But it's also very fair to look at that last sequence on 4th down where he had Jack Besh, but he threw falling backwards and overthrew him. If he steps into the throw, he probably makes that throw. So, yes, that criticism on that throw is absolutely fair. I would also say, look at what Alabama's defense did tonight. They had 5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, 6
How
pass
much
breakups,
of that was Will Anderson?
and 8 quarterback hurries. I mean, Will Anderson had 12 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, a pass breakup, and 2 quarterback hurries. Like, he's a fucking monster. They couldn't handle him. I mean, that's why he's going to be a first-round draft pick.
No,
he's
I get it.
guy.
I've been fearing Will Anderson all year long.
Yeah, man.
It's not like that's anything
He's phenomenal.
surprising.
He's fucking leading the country in sacks. He's awesome. But I guess my point is, Max Johnson got split in half all game.
Yeah,
I mean, I get why he was a little skittish in that moment. Would I have loved to have seen him step into a throw and take one of the chops right there and deliver that throw when you had to have it? Yeah, but he didn't. So the kid fucked up. I mean,
I think you kind of ultimately hit on the point, which is that unfortunately, Max hasn't won you any games this year.
Motherfucker's back. That Fox is back, bro. He's back on the field.
He hasn't won you any games this year. And when you look at last year, wasn't that all the excitement around Max? Is that he quite literally won you the Florida game, right? He won you the Ole Miss game.
Yeah.
And so there was this offseason idea that he would be this sort of transcendent gamer type of personality, which anytime you're relying on somebody being a gamer is always a bit of a red flag because, like, you know, why is your level of play suddenly raised so much, et cetera, et cetera. But that just never has come to fruition this year. Now, I will maintain that let's look at all the criticism that we've levied against the offensive mechanics and operation and Jake Peets and play calling and everything else. Like,
no doubt.
I don't think he's put in the best position.
No doubt.
But even in that position, I also accept that he has not made it at all inarguable that he should be the guy going forward. Like, no, like it's completely open.
I think you and I talked about it on Moscona and T on Monday when we got the Miles Brennan news. And that was my whole thing with Brennan transferring. While I was surprised because there's no guarantee this is Max Johnson's job. And we haven't seen Garrett Nussmeier do anything. So, I mean, that was the – I mean,
well, the Miles thing just makes sense in the context of his life.
Listen, it's less about – that comment right now was less about Brennan's decision.
And more about Max.
More about
I
Max.
agree.
That's all. So.
I got some super chats, Matt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, Brian Andy Pitton says Max isn't the guy. He cost us the game.
I don't know if I can say that, man.
I mean, it's tough to say, right? I think that quarterback can always win you the game. And therefore, you can feel like they cost you the game. And maybe they really do. But at the end of the day, it's such a –
Could I argue that Ty Davis-Price's fumble on the opening drive of the second half, which led to a touchdown, that cost you the game? Look at the margin.
I mean, I do literally have it written here in my notes that it's kind of crazy to think, but in the end, that fumble in the touchdown was the turning point. I mean, and at the time, it felt like, okay, this is just the breakaway point. Like, this is where Alabama buries you, and it's all good. But, no, I mean, that ended up being –
You fumble, they hit the 58-yard touchdown. It's 20-7. You're like, all right. Well, it was fun for a half.
Yeah, this is how it was always supposed to go.
Yeah.
The fact that came down to literally the last play of the game is – well, it's a credit to the defense. Credit to Damone Clark and Neil Farrell and everybody else in the defense.
I think first game this season that Damone Clark did not have double-digit tackles. He had 8 on the game. I mean, still a great game, but, you know, it's funny the bar you set for yourself when you're like, oh, only 8 tackles against Alabama.
So Jack Zering says, I let myself believe that's on me, won't happen again. Say something nice about Jake Peeps. Don't be sad for believing. I mean, I feel you, dude. Do not trust the hope. Like, there were many times that game, everybody was trying to get me excited about a win, and I refused to allow my mind to go there. But, like, there's whatever, man. There's nothing fucking wrong with enjoying the game for itself. Say something nice about Jake Peets. I don't know.
I think
there's not a lot to say.
No, from what I understand, Jake Peets is a wonderful husband and father.
Well, yeah. I mean, yes, but you know.
I mean, that was something nice about the coach.
that is technically something nice about.
He said,
Jake
"Say something
Peets.
nice about Jake Peets."
That's true.
He has good hair.
But like, I guess I'm saying, I hope he wouldn't come on here and be like, fucking Jake Peets is a horrible dad.
What a deadbeat.
He's a horrible dad. And that's my point. It's like, from a football perspective, I can't say a ton of nice things because I have not been terribly impressed with the LSU offense and the attack.
I really seriously woke up to y'all. I woke up today thinking, like, it's going to be a blowout. Like, Don Juan's probably going to have emptied out a little bit by the end of the game. We're probably going to spend 90 minutes talking about the coaching search. Like, that's what I thought we were going to do, man. And, like, that I'm actually sitting here just, like,
Hey, it feels better than a blowout, man. It feels. I disagree. If you're going to try to, I will argue this.
Fucking emotional win, man. I don't care about like moral victories.
It's not about a moral victory, boy.
It is.
It's not about a moral victory. No.
It's a better loss than if you got blown out. I mean, you still fired the coach. You're still moving. It would have just been awesome to be able to fuck up their season and have that win. It's as a 4-touchdown underdog. You know, I mean, you were right there. You really.
No, but also in the context of the future, right? You saw some young guys fight their ass off. And Brian Denny, you had Brian Thomas catching a touchdown. You had Jack Roy on a big third down sack. Or was it fourth down? I can't remember.
He didn't get the sack. He got the fumble recovery.
No, but he tripped Bryce Young up on a third down or fourth down at one point. Jack Roy did. My point is that, and he did get the fumble recovery. Yes.
It was Cam Lewis forced it.
But what I'm saying is, like, I know a lot of people will paint this purely as a moral victory, and whatever. I feel you on that. Like, what does that count for? It doesn't count for shit.
Man, I don't give a shit.
But what I did see
they were close.
Were a lot of young guys that you were going to rely on going into the future that fought their ass off tonight. And I think some of that's to be applauded, dude. I mean,
I guess
the boys could have turned over and gotten their ass kicked, and they did well.
Bro, the one spot I'll disagree with you on that. Well, not disagree. It's just I guess I've been there anyway. Like I like some of the young talent on this team, which we've talked about a bunch. I mean, we talked about them all year. So I mean,
but seeing them do it against Alabama is a different stage.
Maybe, but I will say this too. I do believe that sometimes when here's the best analogy I can give you. At the end of last year, when everybody had opted out, you had a bunch of injuries, people had fucking quit. Terrace Marshall opted out, Gilbert opted out, fucking, Stingley was done for the year. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's done. And you played all these fucking young guys. A lot of times, dude, when guys get their first chance to actually play, the effort goes up.
Yeah, you play balls to the wall.
They may not be as skilled as the best guy, but, like, you will see effort and energy and give a damn, and you saw that today, like you didn't see against Ole Miss.
But I think the difference is there, though, you also saw skill, right? You saw Dwight McLaughlin covering.
Well, we knew he was a stud,
bro.
You
saw Jack Roy.
But I know.
Oh, I agree.
I agree.
I'm these thinking are still the greatest tests.
I'm saying more. Okay, you saw Radarius Jones run around and make some plays. You saw I guess you can throw Darren Evans in that mix. Bro, do you realize we saw Pig Cage play tonight? Pig Cage is a freshman walk-on.
I did not realize that.
Pig Cage was playing in the secondary tonight. Where's 38?
That's a little wild.
Bro, he played a bunch tonight, too. That's a guy that went to Rummel, went to Nichols, played in the spring season in Nichols last year, and then came to LSU as a walk-on. That's fucking bizarre. That's bonkers that. I don't mean any disrespect to him, but, this is LSU-Alabama.
No, that's not disrespect. That's a credit to him.
And that guy's on the field playing, significant, meaningful snaps. I wrote it down in the first half because it was a third and 10, and it was Bama's last drive at the end of the first quarter, and when it was the 3rd and 10 when Bryce Young scrambled and got the first down. Ultimately, which led to the 4th and 2 when they went for it and it was incomplete. But I'm like, Pig Cage is on the field on this 3rd and 10. This significant play in the game right now. But, dude, he played a ton tonight. I guess that's my point. You gave dudes their shot because out of necessity, and a lot of them went play really well.
They went toe-to-toe with Brian Denny.
Yeah, man, they did.
It's fucking brutal. It didn't work out. All right, let's get into some super chats. Eddie Gutierrez III says simping for Max is pathetic.
I'm not simping for Max. I just don't think he's great. That's all.
Paul Batts, he's probably more referring to me. Again, I'm not simping for Max. I agree that Max has not done anything where you're like, okay, he's definitely the fucking guy going forward. But, again, I don't feel like a lot of these guys are being put in the best position to succeed necessarily.
Can I then let me ask a piggyback question off the idea of Max? Because I see a lot of the comments, people saying he should have played Nussmeier. Should they have given Nussmeier a go? At what point in the game would you have considered going to Nussmeier? Let's look at this. So you score on the first drive, then you went 3 and out. You got a first down and punted, and then you went 3 and out. Actually, it was the interception at the end of the half. That was the rest of the half after the touchdown. At what point,
I guess, probably
do you start the second half with
it? Maybe.
But at that point, bro, whenever you get the ball to start the second half, TDP fumbled. You converted the 3rd and 7 with the play to Jenkins, and you're feeling pretty good, man, then Ty Davis-Price ran the ball out past midfield. Like, you know what I
were
mean?
driving the ball when TDP fumbled. That's the most disappointing part.
You know, I mean, if they had come out and, like, looked lifeless, listless, gone 3 and out, I mean, then I could have seen maybe.
Look, this
LSU had to delay a game on a punt, too.
This all I'll say on the Max. This all I'll say on the Max Nuss thing is that if they would have put Nuss in, I would not have been like, that was the fucking wrong decision, right? I'm also not like super up in arms that they didn't take him out because that was in Bryant-Denny. It's the second half of the game. Is Nuss really ready for that? Maybe, maybe not.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
That's the kind of dude where I'm like, I think his nuts have dropped. He's unafraid.
He has the fuck you attitude. He would have thought he was
ready. But I also think that's the kind of thing that can get you in trouble in a game like that, where Max is going to be probably better than that. But
I mean, and the no mistake.
When I say better, I mean like
the
more poised.
The no mistake style did set you up technically for some shots at the end. You just couldn't get across the finish line. TH from the 203 says, "Thanks, man, T-Bob. Thank you for covering." Thank you, LSU, for covering the 28.5. Let's go. John Sager says Jake Peets would ruin a wet dream. Had them ready to go today. Jonathan LeBleu says, who do you think LSU's next coach is if you could decide?
Who do I think? Or who do you want? He said if you can decide?
It said, who do you think if you could decide? So I guess we can do it 2 separate ways.
Well, that's two different. That's 2 different questions. I mean, if I had to bet my life on it right now, I'd pick 1 of 2 guys. It would be either Jimbo or Mel Tucker. If you can get across the finish line with Jimbo, he's the guy. And if not, I think they go to Mel Tucker, and I think he takes it, especially after the loss today because they're not going to be in the playoffs. So I think it's one of those 2 guys. I'd
feel like that's probably accurate.
Well,
if you could decide, who would the next coach be?
Nick Saban.
Yeah. Herm Edwards, USMC
Hello.
Mike.
You play to win the game.
USMC Mike says, from Marine in North Carolina, diehard Tiger fan. Go Tigers. Shout out USMC Mike. Thank you for your service, bruh. Gulf South says, all of you at 104.5 owe this team and the coach an apologies for acting all week like this is going to be a slaughter.
Hey, fuck off.
Bunch of fair weather fuck-ass
Get the fuck out
hosts.
of here with that. Come on. Like, it was a 4-touchdown spread. What are you talking about? There's not a soul that gave this team a chance. And sometimes, like, what am I going to do, bullshit you all week and tell you why LSU has a great chance to go to Alabama as a 4-touchdown underdog and win? Get the fuck out of here.
Kind of did win in a lot of ways. They won by 21.
Huh?
I said they won by 21.
They did. They won by
What are you talking about, dude? Let's
spread.
fucking go.
The whole you owe them an apology. Fuck off. You owe them an apology. Our job is to give opinions. Every fucking body thought that they were going to lose this game and get their ass kicked. And by all accounts, they should have. But they played well. Bama was flat early. LSU took advantage of it. They ended up in a 4-quarter game. LSU couldn't make the plays late to win it. That sucked. I would have loved to have seen Alabama suffer a loss because of what happened, because of their lack of effort early.
It would have been so
It would have been so
good.
fucking great. It didn't work out. It didn't work out. That sucks. It would have been great to finish it. They didn't.
Well,
But you deserve him an apology. I deserve a coach. They deserve an apology when the coach on Monday sits there and says everything self-doubt has revealed everything we're terrible at, which is every fucking thing. Come on, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
hey,
I don't get down with this. You owe an apology.
We're pretty deep into this cast. And let's not lose sight of this. Florida fucking sucks.
Did they lose?
We are a tire fire. Florida is hot fucking garbage.
Wait. It was 30-10. Dude, they're going to fire Dan Mullen. Like,
C.R. Evans says
you can't go to Columbia, South Carolina and get shit.
Fuck no, dude. This is so again, Matt. Oh no, you will appreciate this one, Matt. I'm going to make a nerdy analogy here.
All right.
You know how at the end of A New Hope, Luke Skywalker hits the shot to blow up the Death Star, right?
Yeah.
And it's one shot.
One shot.
But it's a compound reaction. Boom, 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 bow. Cade York started that shit last year. We fucking said it at the time. That was the trench run. That was the Cade York, Luke Skywalker trench run. 1 in a million, kid. He fucking nailed the shot, and everything since then has been a compounding explosion for Florida.
That's true.
And that final,
Not bad.
that final beautiful 1978 of the Death Star exploding, That was Beamer.
Nice.
That was Beamer
Nice.
beating
No,
Florida.
fuck you.
Oh, wow.
How did you fall for that?
Wow,
You're so stupid that you fell for that. I can't believe you fell for that, you stupid fucking idiot. You're so stupid. I so roped you into that. I fucking had you hook, line, and sinker on that one, bro. That was so good.
I mean, the level of trust. The level of trust that you just spiked with suspicion and doubt. I mean, what the fuck, dude?
Oh, that was the best part of the whole night.
Fuck Florida!
That's
the point.
That was the best part of my day.
I don't even feel bad about going to take a piss now.
In all seriousness, that really was a very good announcement.
It is a pretty good
really
announcement.
Was, and I'm
it is a
not,
pretty
like,
good announcement.
that really
no, I
was
agree.
very
I
good.
agree. I agree. Okay, here we go.
God.
C.R. Evans says, Max definitely missed Palmer late/high on the touchdown pass. Also, without Butte taking slants to the house, Johnson's been average at best. Again, I do think that Kayshon Butte's absence is a black fucking hole that you can feel every single game. There is nobody that was as dynamic as Kayshon. And again, I cannot wait to see what he may be like with a more competent kind of offense around him. But no, I mean, Max missed the critical throws late, right? Everything we gave Max credit for last year, being a gamer, coming up with the big throws. Unfortunately, tonight, it just wasn't there.
I can't believe you fell for that.
I mean, never again, dude.
Dude, it will take me.
That's a
dude,
boy. That's a boy who cried wolf situation.
Bro, it will take me years to ever be able to execute. That's like, dude, that is like the Les Miles over the head fake punt or fake field goal. You nailed it in 07, right?
Oh, wait.
With Colt David.
Wait.
And then you got it again in 2010 against Florida. Like, it's going to be at least 3 years before I can do that again.
While we talk about, though, fakes, the Avery Atkins jump pass was tight. That was good shit, dude.
The funniest part about that?
That was like a CP3 floater in the lane. Like, that was like a little touch pass.
But, bro, they had to call a timeout before a punt.
Yeah, because you know it's a fake. It's a little complicated. You got to set it up.
But you know what's so bizarre about it? It's like, did the fake work because Alabama believed that LSU was just awful enough at managing the game that the timeout wasn't to set up the fake? The timeout was because they just fuck up all the time in this situation. Bro, they did call – dude, and in the second half, they did call a timeout before they got to delay a game before the punt. They legit got to delay a game before the punt.
That is – I mean, I cannot disagree that was probably an element that lulled Alabama to sleep. I do think, though, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Oh, man.
Because if the shoe was flipped, we'd all be like,
fake,
how the
fake.
fuck was Coach O not ready for that fucking fake?
He had to be ready.
Like Nick Saban got caught by it, and Pete Golding. But if it was O, it would be like, fucking fire him. That's why he's fired, because he wasn't ready for the fucking fake. Hey, Jack Mashburn, though. That shit was tight. Okay, more super chat.
All right, go ahead.
We have Frank Finney says, defense had us in this game. Our offense and coaching couldn't win it. Good news is we still have Moscona and T-Bob. Oh, that's very kind, Frank. But, yeah, no, that is, I mean, that's actually a great summation of the game. The defense fucking balled out. Damone Clark, Neil Farrell, Dwight McLaughlin, a secondary devoid of multiple All-Americans, a secondary devoid of multiple backups to All-Americans, still held serve with the highest scoring offense in the SEC and held them to 20 points. It is a fucking shame. And unfortunately, it's a shame that I've all too experienced firsthand. It is a shame that the offense and the rest of this team did not support that defensive performance. They were great, dude. They were great. I mean, there's really no way around it. Yeah. The defense was fucking great tonight.
Do you want to do – you have more Super Chats?
We got a couple more.
Go ahead.
TK says Max is average QB, but pretty bad on any kind of deep pass.
It's a little
hard to argue against.
Jeff Oquin said they shut down the run. There was one point – I want to look at the final stat here because there was one point in the fourth quarter where Alabama had 14 rushing yards. Let's see. They finished with – Alabama finished with – I'm sorry, excuse me. Alabama finished with do you want to guess how many rushing yards Alabama had to. Now, this is, of course, well, not sack adjusted. Okay, let's do sack adjusted. Sack adjusted. So you remove the negative yardage for sacks. How many yards did Alabama rush for in this game?
I really have no idea how you're setting this up. I'm going to say 34.
You're close, 49.
Okay.
49 rush yards. Like, I mean, that offense with Brian Robinson, I mean, that. Now,
he was averaging 100 yards a game.
Do you know the other thing that is worth mentioning, and this is one of the first half notes that I pointed out. When Bama's center went out, it really changed their offensive line because they moved their right tackle to center and they put the kid in the young guy at right tackle, and it was just very. Think about like the fumbled snap on the quarterback center exchange that they had. Think about the Rivers Huey, everybody, Rivers Huey. They fumbled the snap. The miscommunication with the stunt. I mean, there was one stunt where. Oh, fuck, who came around?
Bama's offensive line was sloppy. It doesn't matter about the details.
Yeah,
like LSU for once brought blitzes, and they were actually getting home. But again, that's a point to why I've been so impressed.
LSU 4 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, 2 quarterback hurries.
So that's one of the things that I've been most impressed with, actually, about what Ole Miss has done this season, Matt, is that they've missed those guys. Like Ben Brown was their heart and soul center guy. Ben Brown was like their heart and soul center guy, good to go. Oh, I love you, bro. Later, Emil. LSU Football Podcast, great job. Emil McClellan right here. Let's go. Let's go.
Go Tigers.
But,
Go Tigers.
Yeah, but Ole Miss, though, their scheme, how they do things, they've still been able to affect a really good offensive side. That's really hard to do. LSU wasn't able to. Alabama wasn't able to. Are you about to make out? Paul Bad says Brian Sparacino wins that game.
Sparacino. Sparky, bro. So Brian Sparacino went to Denham. Shout out Sparky. Went to Denham, was Herb Tyler's backup when LSU went and played in the swamp in '96 and just got absolutely shithoused in that game. But Herb Tyler got hurt, and Sparacino had to play. And that Florida team won the Natty in '96.
Did Sparacino fuck him up?
No, he didn't.
Oh.
But Sparacino's a dude, bro. Sparacino could probably walk in here right now and beat every motherfucker in here and, pick up basketball. He could probably throw a ball 70 yards still. Just one of them dudes. Just a dude. Shout out Sparky.
R. Walker says, wish Max had entered the transfer portal instead of Miles due to his garbage. Also, does Pete have to finish the season?
I don't know, man. Listen, here's the thing, T. I understand everybody's. I mean, Shane Bordelon, Max is not the answer. I mean, I get it. I get it. Maybe I should go harder. I'm being legitimate with you. I just don't think we've seen. I didn't look at here. All right, here's where let's go back. After the Florida Ole Miss games last year, a lot of LSU fans became very bullish on Max Johnson. And I'll tell you that this coaching staff wanted him to win the job in spring. They wanted it to be decided. They wanted him to play well enough to win it in spring and make it a non-issue. And it didn't happen. He didn't pull away. So they went into fall camp with a legit quarterback battle because Max Johnson didn't pull away from Miles Brennan. And my contention was, and I said this on every platform, that Brennan was going to start game one. Now, could he play well enough to keep the job? That remained to be seen. But it was that close, and I figured they would just go with the veteran to start game one, and then they'd both play, and they'd figure it out as the season went along. But I was very tempered or very measured on Max Johnson coming into the season. So we've seen it play out with him as a full season starter. He's just not right now as a sophomore a super dynamic player.
So I agree that we treated Max Johnson like a known quantity, right?
After
we
two
treated
games,
him.
yeah.
Yes, after 2 games, we treat him like, okay, we know who this guy is going to be. My preseason line was that I don't know if it's going to be Max or Miles, but functionally, I feel like they probably represent the same thing on the field. It's tough to argue because it's an impossible thing to argue because it's a hypothetical with Miles, but I don't know that I agree anymore. I'm not sure that in this offense, something that me and Jake have talked about a lot lately, like in this offense, with the route combinations Jake Peetz is trying to run, this just feels like an offense that would have suited Miles Brennan much better.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're trying to do a ton of work. They're trying to do a ton of work downfield in the intermediate. It's not necessarily playing to Max's or what we perceive to be Max's strengths.
The singular physical advantage that Max Johnson has over Miles Brennan is his mobility. That's it. Miles Brennan has a bigger arm, a strong. We've seen that over, and that's not even debatable.
Miles will get a chance in the NFL even if he doesn't play in college next year because of his arm.
Because of his arm. Someone is going to give him a look in a camp. There's no question. But how many times have we talked about here on Moscona and T? They don't run Max Johnson. How many times could you today have taken advantage of Alabama's pressure by running a quarterback draw? They did it against Bama with Burrow in 2019.
Now I will say though, Bama did have there was a couple critical third downs where I was like, ooh, are they going to do a quarterback draw here? And I will say Bama's interior rushers were affecting a pretty conservative pass rush, right? Bama's interior guys were reading, reacting, and they were just waiting on Will Anderson to get home. And guess what? It turns out waiting on Will Anderson to get home is a pretty fucking good strategy. He does it all the fucking time.
But
whatever. LSU doesn't even. But that doesn't change the original point, which that LSU in no way has built this offense around a quarterback that can run the ball.
Look at the two plays primarily that we're going to look back on and go, God, you needed that one. The decision to go for it on 4th and goal from the 7, and on that play, Max held on to the ball too long. And then the 4th down at the end of the game, where he had Jack Besh over the middle, and he got rid of it too early, backpedal. If he just set his feet and thrown it, he'd have made it. It's people are like, oh, he holds on the ball too long. Well, at the end of the game, he got rid of it too early. He should have been more patient and stepped into the throw. It's just what it is, man.
Jeremy Hill says Zach Calzada would have won that game.
Jeremy Hill, Hilly?
In the chat,
What's up, Hilly? Zach, dude, me and Hilly are sitting there doing pregame, and when A&M was playing Colorado, we're looking at Zach Calzada going, can this dude complete? This dude is an SEC quarterback, that is an example of a guy who has progressed throughout the season. They really fucking good quarterback coach.
Well, and the thing is, I argued, my entire argument early season, Matt, was that, let's allow Matt room to progress, right? Or allow Max rooms to progress, and he just, unfortunately, and a lot of it's because of Keyshawn, but unfortunately the progression never happened, man. And in fact, now we've arrived at regression, which is why you're seeing all the anger, right? I mean, that's what it comes from. It comes from not that you stagnated or that you didn't get better. We only got a little bit better.
Yeah.
It's that the offense feels markedly worse now. But again, what I keep going back to is, of course it fucking does, because you lost Keyshawn Butte. If you didn't realize how valuable Keyshawn Butte was to this offense, to this attack, well, you should now.
Shout out Don Juan Cigar Bar. By the way, so 477 watching on Facebook. Shout out to all of you, Joshua Slayton, Jennifer Martin, AJ Holland, Jeff O'Quinn. We appreciate y'all. Don Juan Cigar Bar for hosting us all season long. Y'all come see our friends here at Don Juan. It'll be open tomorrow for all the NFL games.
I'm not trying to.
And the retail shop next door as well. If you want to pick up your cigars, it's a great spot. So thanks so much to Don Juan for hosting us. If you're on Facebook, they are tagged in the Facebook post. And then Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. Say all the time, if you sell or if you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, and rent the equipment you use to weigh and measure, and they are hiring as well. Michelli.com, 29 offices in 11 different states. Michelli.com, Michelli.com.
Look, man, and now it's my turn, right? AccuTemp, BR.com. I got it right here on the chest, on the hat. Look, fuck you. You don't trust anything I'm saying anyway. I'm paid to talk about AccuTemp, so I fucking get it. You're like, T-Bob, why would I trust you if you're telling me to get my AC from AccuTemp? Fuck me. Go look at the online reviews, okay? Go look at the online reviews for AccuTemp. They're unbelievable. The internet hates fucking everything, but they love AccuTemp, okay? AC, heating, electrical. Just don't trust me. Trust the reviews. Go to AccuTemp right now. Text the word heater to 31996. You get a $59 tune-up. Then you're entered the system. 6 months later, they check on your shit. You're good to go. They check on it for free. If there's no problems, you're fine. Doesn't mean anything. They look out for you. AccuTempBR.com.
So,
we got a $50 super chat.
Real quick, Jesse McMaster said, Max didn't check out of some bad looks when they were outnumbered at the line. Max also needed to move the running back over when protection was lined up. Okay, first of all.
McMasters, you got a critical eye there, bro.
Jesus Christ. First of all, you or I or him or nobody knows, even if Max has the green light to check out of plays, to change protections. That's not fucking Tom Brady back there. It's not fucking Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. It's a sophomore quarterback playing on the road in the SEC against Alabama. Like we've said all season, fucking call the play and run it. The coaches have said call the play and run it. Yeah. I mean, you played college football for this team. At what point is a quarterback given green lighted to change plays at the line and change protections and move the running back over?
When he's Joe Burrow.
When you're Joe fucking Burrow. What are you talking about?
No, I think McMasters is applying a little bit too much of
Come on, man. What are you talking about?
Football knowledge. Also, you don't know the scheme or the protection they were in, so should he have actually moved the back? You don't know necessarily. At least, I don't know, McMasters. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'm guessing that just watching it live that you can't say that beyond the pressure came from the left and the back was wasted on the right. What are we doing? There was an MA somewhere along the way, I'm sure. But I think it takes maybe a little more view.
$50 super chat.
Our guy Van Lathan from The Ringer, the fucking legend himself.
What's up, Van Lathan?
Says LSU will be SEC and maybe playoff contenders, all caps, immediately when the new staff comes in. The talent is there. The scheme has been mediocre.
I agree. Scheme has been mediocre. I think the talent is there in spots. But I will say that I am, and I've been consistent on this, if you get the current sophomore class back next year, I think you have a legit opportunity to have a great junior class with Butte and Ricks. And how about the hit Jay Ward put on 9 tonight?
Okay, so just from
Jaquelin Roy, Ojolari. I mean, your juniors
just from a human watching the game standpoint, being with other people, it was ridiculously fun here at Don Juan when Jay Ward fucked him up. Because the game probably was not going to go your way. Everybody knew it at the time. It didn't feel great. And yet everybody in here was fucking hyped when Jay Ward fucked up Bryce Young. That was fun.
So, to finish that point, I think LSU's juniors will be really good. You've gotten a lot of freshmen, good playing time. Dude, you didn't even have Mason Smith tonight. You'll have Mason Smith, Jack Besh. Look at the freshmen that have stepped up this year and played significant roles. Dwight McLaughlin is obviously going to be one of your Rick's McLaughlin next year on the outside. We'll see what Flott does.
I cannot speak to the attrition that is to come, right? I don't know who will transfer. I don't know who you will fail to retain from a recruiting standpoint. But if you look at the last few years, Matt, you said in certain spots you're really good. I agree. In almost every spot except for the defensive line, and there's other weak spots, or excuse me, offensive line. The offensive line is obviously the glaring issue. Everywhere else, you're pretty fucking solid. Now, to Van's point, if you get this coach that is an elevator and everybody buys in and it's a situation where, I guess to Van's point, the bottom line is you'll have top 10 talent. If we just look at blue chip ratios, let's look at the 4 and 5 stars on the team and go throughout the country. LSU was top 5 this year. They will have top 10 talent again next year. That's the problem with this season, is that you have been less than the sum of your parts. And you have seen other teams that have been more than the sum of their parts. I mean, that is the ultimate sin of LSU, right? That's what costs you at the end of the day, is that they've recruited well. They are top 5 in blue chip ratio, and yet still they sit here and they're fighting to get bowl eligible.
You talk about me interrupting all the time. I've tried to make a point, been interrupted by you twice now. So
okay, make your point.
So fuck you. You don't get to say I interrupt anymore. The point is...
We got a new super chat from Jonathan Creer. He says, here's my contributions to bring back the OGs of the air raid and the 335. Hal Mummy, head coach. Joe Lee Dunn, DC. OC, head coach in waiting, Mike Leach.
Okay. To Van Lathan, because I'm going to throw that out there, you'll probably shut the fuck up and let me finish because I'm answering his $50 super chat, which is I think the junior class is going to be very good, and this is a year, in a literal sense, a unique year because of the new transfer rule. Whoever the new coach is that comes in can bring a one-for-one transfer up to 7 people. So let's say you do hire Jimbo, hypothetically, or Mel Tucker. Let's say you hire Mel Tucker. Is there, and you need a starting offensive lineman. Is there a lineman at Michigan State right now that would come to LSU to play for Mel Tucker, a starter? Maybe.
Maybe the left tackle that they got from Arkansas State.
Maybe so. So I guess my point is, this is a year where, like in the history of college football, it is, in a literal sense, a unique situation. There's never been one like it before, where whoever the new coach is has a better chance to succeed immediately because he will be able to make over the roster by bringing in as many as 32 new players.
Well, and so kind of to Van's point to further on that, it's that, Matt, you don't actually have that much to make over, right? Like, you need to redo the offensive line. You need to strengthen linebacker, sure, right?
No doubt. Mike Jones played well tonight.
Yeah, safety. Safety could still use work.
In fairness,
but
though, we haven't
outside
seen
of that,
we haven't made so major. You should next year have Jay Ward, Major Burns, Sage Ryan.
You feel pretty good about that.
Derek, fuck, help me. Who's the other kid they signed? Derek Jones?
Davis. Derek Davis, right?
Fuck if I remember.
I think it's Derek Davis.
Derek Davis, whatever.
From Pennsylvania.
Yeah, the other, yes.
Yes.
Pennsylvania or yes. That you know what I'm talking about. That kid. You got guys back there. You got Tolles who'll be back for another year. Like, I think you have bodies there, and I think you're good with.
Okay.
I think you're good with Major Burns, Jay Ward.
Okay, so that kind of increases the point there, right? What do you really have to make over? Offensive line.
Offensive line, linebacker.
And linebacker.
For sure.
And you can do that, though. Like Michigan State is the perfect example. Mel Tucker got his fucking starting left tackle from Arkansas State, who has now helped clear the way for Kenneth Walker. And I know they lost today, but whatever. I mean, I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying that, like,
I had Purdue money line.
Nowadays, well, it was a stinky line.
You know I love them stinky lines.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You had to take stinky lines. We talked about it last couple weeks. It's like UNC.
Same situation when I picked Purdue against Iowa. It's like,
even though fucking Wake Forest was 18 with 3 minutes left in the third, I had the girls loaded up in the minivan. We were heading to Target. I was going to say, buy whatever the fuck you want. You want the fucking Paw Patrol tower? Go for it. We're getting the Elsa and Anna Frozen 2 castle. Let's fucking do it. I had that shit on lock.
The Demon Deacons got it. Bro.
I don't even like Raya. I was going to buy the Raya fucking super special play set. And the fucking Demon Dickens. I'll never fucking trust Wake Forest again.
Matthew Langwad, safety, too. Thank you, Brandon English. They sound like 4 safeties in this class.
Okay, so again, to Dan's original point, the cupboard is not bare. And with the transfer portal and college free agency, a great head coach should be able to get you relevant again next year. I do think that is fair. I don't know if it's the expectation. I don't know that I would say that I would expect LSU to be like second best in the West or anything next year, but the potential I do think is there.
I mean, shit, dude. Ole Miss is losing Matt Corral. I don't know what Auburn is anyway.
Who knows?
I mean, I don't think Arkansas, Mississippi State threaten. It's really just a question of, is it LSU A&M behind Bama? Because we also assume Bama will be there because, Bama. And if you land Jimbo, how does that reshape the division? I mean, all that's fair. I mean, it could legitimately say that next year.
Fuck Florida, though, dude. They got their ass kicked by South Carolina. They can get fucked, dude.
That was so good. All right, let's look at you. Do you want to look at? We didn't do any game flow stuff. Do you want to look at that at all? Or
I would like to do game flow, but you know what I have to do.
But what?
You know what I have to do.
You have to go piss. All right, you go piss, and I'll do this real quick.
All right.
And I'll remind everybody, 459 watching on Facebook. Thank you so much. Please share the post. That's how we grow this thing organically. It's how we've grown this thing organically since 2017. So Facebook, please share the post. YouTube, smash that like button. Still 1,700 watching on YouTube. That's awesome. Only 552 likes. So I know we can get over 1,000 likes. With 1,700 watching, we can get over 1,000 likes. So do us a solid and smash the like button. And if you haven't yet, subscribe there on the YouTube channel. So I guess I should probably wait for him to come back till we do the fucking game flow. because he's going to want to talk about it too. He's the fastest pisser in the world anyway. So he is, dude. He'll be back in like 10 seconds. It's incredible. All right. Jeff Oakland wants game flow piss time. Ed Stockwell, what's going on, man? Ed Stockwell said T-Bob's going to meet Jean Jacket in the bathroom. Scott Kushia, Matt's face when T-Bob interrupts, is funny. Only because, Scott, he shits on me all the time for interrupting. Clarence Saison, really don't want Jimbo. What has he done at A&M? Here's what I don't understand, Clarence. I don't understand he's back already. That's incredible. It's incredible how quickly he pisses. I mean, when I piss, it's like a racehorse. I'm going to be in there for a couple minutes. I mean, it's amazing. Do you know, did you see Tommy Boy? Okay. It's an old movie, so I try to at least be somewhat mindful of the fact. Have you seen Tommy Boy? All right, Jake, how old are you?
Plenty
21?
of people go to college for 7 years.
But here's my point. Jake's 22. He's never seen Tommy Boy.
Tommy
Boy's you know what I mean? So I try to be mindful of the fact that sometimes, like, my pop culture references are lost on younger people. Well, you know the scene in Tommy Boy, like when Chris Farley goes into the bathroom in the airplane, and he comes out and he's changed. He just closes the door and he comes back out and he's changed.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like a jump cut, obviously, how they did it with the visual effect. But that's like you pissing. You get up and walk away, and then you just come right back. It's like, how did you empty your bladder?
And I honestly, I'm not washing my hands.
You're in a fucking cigar bar. I don't think it matters.
Yeah, it's like you ever seen Shape of Water?
No. Although
the bad guy in that movie says you can tell a lot by a man whether he washes his hand before he pisses or after he pisses.
But Ryan Clark.
And I wash my hands before.
Ryan Clark.
Because the filth of the world is not worthy to touch me.
Ryan Clark, who, by the way, did say LSU would cover the 28.5, so good on him for that. But Ryan Clark did a plot summary of Shape of Water on my show a couple years ago.
Yeah,
It was the funniest shit in the world when he was talking about the fish man. And I clipped it and posted it. And my son Drew watches it all the time. And RC talks about, like, doing sex pirouettes and shit. And so my little boy, who's 7 and has special needs, runs around talking about sex pirouettes.
Yeah, good.
It's actually pretty funny.
And I also taught him how to say something, bitch.
Yes, that's true. He watches the video of you saying say something, bitch.
Yeah.
So he walks around going, say something, bitch. He told his teacher at school, say something, bitch.
I desperately hope that at one time you're going to be like, hey, Drew, come on, listen to me. I need you to do this. And he's going to turn around and be like, say something, bitch. I'm like, oh, my God, my life is made, dude. Thank you. It's all coming together. It's all a part of the plan. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't wash my hands. I apologize. Relax, chat. Relax. Okay, I don't know what to do. I was trying to get here so I could give you this cutting insight. Like, okay, I'll just read a random note.
I was waiting to do game flow.
Okay, let's do game flow.
All right, here we go. We'll go through this quickly. Bama got the ball. LSU forced a punt. Actually, I'm sorry. Bama missed a field goal in their first possession. Opening possession was when they hit the crossbar.
Doink!
They doinked it.
Shitty fucking kick, if you ask me.
By the way, a nice pass defend by Sony Fanu at the line of scrimmage. 53.
5-3.
I knew you'd love it.
Making fucking plays.
LSU got the ball in its first possession and actually put together a pretty amazing drive to open the ball game. LSU went 8 plays, 68 yards. Of course, They called the timeout before the punt, faked the punt, which worked. Anytime a fake works, it's brilliant. It worked. On first down, Bama.
But also the fake, though, if we want to talk about it for a second, that was a really athletic play from Avery Atkins.
Yeah.
Like, that jump pass was basically like a Chris Paul floater in traffic over the middle, and it was a thing of beauty.
He ain't a kicker.
And it was so you're blocking tight end.
He ain't a kicker, bro. Like, well, first
he's
of all,
a safety. Yeah, exactly.
He was like an all-state safety in Alabama who loves to crush people. And then your blocking tight end was a high school quarterback at St. Paul. So those are two athletic dudes. Let's not get that twisted. But LSU scores, beautiful touchdown pass to Brian Thomas on 3rd and 2. Which ended up being Brian Thomas' first career touchdown pass.
I was about to say, I have it right here in the notes. Nice to see the young boy step up. Brian Thomas, first touchdown. Let's fucking ride.
So then,
also, if we're playing sudden death rules, LSU wins the game.
Bama goes 3 and out. LSU goes 3 and out. That's when LSU punted and Bama got the ball at the LSU 48. And I thought this was huge because LSU forced the stop after Bama got the ball in plus territory. That was the moment where you thought, all right, maybe this is where Bama get. There was a bunch of moments in the game where you thought, all right, this is where Bama's going to get going, and LSU kept coming after him. But that was also the drive where Dwight McGlothern got hurt, and we saw Raydarius Jones and Darren Evans in the ball game.
There was also kind of a depressing moment where you're like, oh, look, Dwight McGlothern made a big play, great tackle, forced fumble, and he's hurt, because of course he fucking is. Because if you do anything well for LSU this year, you get hurt. Now he came back, so it didn't matter, but yeah, I do remember being a little pessimistic at the time.
LSU went 3-and-out again, so after the touchdown, back-to-back 3-and-outs for LSU, and then Bama got the ball. That was at the end of the first quarter, into the second quarter. They drove, ultimately decided to go for it on the 4th and 2, and LSU forced the incomplete pass, which felt significant, man. It felt like at that moment where Saban needed to do something to, like, inject life into the stadium and his team, because there were 5 penalties in the first quarter. I mean, it was very sloppy for Alabama early. And LSU came up with another play there on that 4th and 2. Now Tigers got the ball, couldn't do anything with it. They got a first down, but ultimately punted. And that's when Bama put together its first scoring drive of the night.
Yeah, and that's where you kind of started to, well, I mean, you talk about the stop in plus territory. That's where you kind of started to be like, okay, dude, okay. I always go back to the Aomera line in Two Towers, like, do not trust to hope. It is forsaken in these lands. But that's the first time where I allowed myself a little bit of hope. But actually, I mean, well, let's continue the game flow, because we'll get to my point later on.
So after Bama scored at 7-7, LSU gets the ball, and on 3rd and 4, Max Johnson throws the deflected interception. And that's really where you felt like everything that LSU needed to happen was happening. You're up 7-7. Just get to the locker room. You're getting the ball to start the second half. Chew some clock here, and instead on 3rd and 4, you throw the pick. Alabama scores, and just like that, you're down 14-7.
Oh, fuck, man.
And then you get the ball to start the second half.
I'm just remembering how this all played out. Like, LSU really actually had a chance this game.
Yeah, and then you get the ball to start the second half. You get the big 3rd down conversion to Jenkins, and on 1st down, beautiful play design on a little dump-off pass to TDP. He had a great run, and then he fumbled, and Bama gets the ball in plus territory. Boom, 58 yards. They missed the PAT. It's 27.
It is such a credit to this defense that the game did not explode beyond that, man, because the offense gave them almost no support.
Yeah.
And Damone Clark had them boys fucking playing, dude. I know Damone Clark didn't hit the double-digit tackles, but he was all over the field again tonight. Neil Farrell had a bunch of big plays.
Neil Farrell did.
Again,
he's played
always.
Well. He's developed into like a really good nose in this defense.
He's made himself some money, hopefully, dude.
He's put on a lot of weight. I don't know if that's intentional, but he wasn't this big in the during the 2019 season. He has gained a lot of weight, but he's become a more run stuffer, big body in the middle type guy that can actually get a little bit of a pass rush up the gut. You know what I mean?
He's applied pressure up the middle. Dude, absolutely, man. No, Neil Farrell and Damone Clark have made themselves money this season. I tweeted it earlier, and I know it probably won't be the case, but, like, I desperately hope that Damone Clark's effort is not lost to time in the mediocrity of this LSU season. Like, I hope he gets the All-American accolades. I hope that people they won't. I mean, people won't remember this, but, like, on a better team, Damone Clark will be celebrated. And he should be celebrated, especially because we criticized him last year. And rightfully so. I don't mean that, like, criticism is inherently wrong. We criticized him, I think, accurately based on the play. But when you talk about someone facing that criticism, fixing every issue of it, and then coming back next year and blowing out expectations, it's actually one of the reasons why we were talking earlier. We're like, okay, which coaches do you think should be retained on this staff?
Yep.
And, you think, look, Corey Raymond, obviously, right, speaks for itself.
He will be, and so I think Brad Davis.
That's what I'm saying. Brad Davis is the other one.
Those two will be retained.
That makes sense.
Austin Thomas will be back.
So what about Blake Baker?
No.
See, that's and I guess that is what it is. But, like, he's done an awesome job with these linebackers.
Should he? Maybe. But does he have a deal right now to be retained? No, I think that's the new coach will make that decision.
No, that's fair. I just mean that Damone.
I think the new coaches will be made to retain Corey Raymond and Brad Davis.
Oh, you think they will be like a little bit of an Auburn situation where they're like, hey, you got to because they told Harsin, right, like, you got to hold a couple of these. Like, they gave Harsin, like, you got to hold this guy on. You can bring in this guy that you want. You got to hold this guy on.
Those two. I'm very confident in saying Corey Raymond and Brad Davis will be on staff next year.
That makes sense. I mean, why would you not keep Brad Davis? He's a proven SEC O-line coach, and he has Baton Rouge ties and knows
Great
the
recruiter.
SEC in and out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. So I don't know what happens with Baker. My point is, though, Damone Clark's improvement has been incredible this season, and it's a credit to him and it's a credit to Blake Baker.
To your point about things being, accomplishments being lost, it's not always the case. Like, I mean, I can remember, like, 2002, Brady James came back for a senior year in 2002, and that team went 8-5, and it was a Saban team. They lost the Cotton Bowl to Texas.
Yeah, I remember that. Roy fucking Williams, dude.
They went 8-5, but Brady James was an All-American, had 156 tackles or some shit like that. I mean, I think it's the second highest tackle total season, single season in LSU history. I think Al Richardson has that dude. I didn't get to watch that guy play. It was before my time, but you look at his tackle total, it's like, what the fuck? This guy had like 20 tackles every game.
Richardson.
It was bizarre. Yeah, crazy. Dude. Like an 82. I mean, yeah, it was bonkers. In like a 10-game season, had like 180 tackles. Crazy. Anyway. So I do think Damone Clark wearing the 18 jersey, if he gets All-America honors, if he's a Butkus finalist, if he gets drafted highly, plays a long time in the NFL, will remember that stuff. It's similar to Brady James.
I hope that he gets that All-American recognition in the midst of being a part of like a bad overall defense. I just think that's really hard to do.
He should. I mean, if you lead the nation in tackles, people will speak your name, and that's what he's doing. All right, so then LSU holds Bama to a 3-and-out, gets the ball back and scores. They had the big 34-yard pass to Trey Palmer that got negated some of the yardage because of the holding on John Trey Kirkland downfield by the end zone. But ultimately, the Jack Best touchdown, and all of a sudden you're in a 20-14 ball game. And now, I mean, that ended up being the final score, but you're in the third quarter and you're in a one-score game.
A one-score fucking game, and who wouldn't have taken it? A one-score fucking game entering the fourth quarter of this game.
Well, that was in the third, and then Bama, after you score, Bama went 3-and-out, LSU went 3-and-out, Bama went 3-and-out again, and then LSU put together the long drive that ended, as we talked about, with fourth down. There were some big plays, man. Ty Davis-Price had a third down run, 3rd and 6 conversion to Jack Best. They converted the 4th and 1. Ty Davis-Price on 4th and 1 ran for 37 yards. You know, where like he busted, it looked like he was going to score.
Bro,
he just
Don
didn't have
Don Juan got
exploded.
hyped as fuck.
Dude, he
But
almost
I knew as soon
housed
as he
it.
got tackled, it was like.
Yeah, he was at the 7. So, first down, they ran Ty Davis-Price, and then they threw it on 3 straight plays, threw it on back-to-back plays, and then on third down was the fumble that got reviewed and was ultimately determined to be a forward pass, which it was. The contact didn't cause the fumble. He maintained possession of the ball. He brought it forward, and then it fell. So it was a good call to overturn it, but then they went forward on 4th down, and that's where I told you. And we were sitting here, and I said in the moment, thought they should have kicked it because that would have made it a 3-point game. If you get one with 6 minutes to go, if you get a stop, all you need to do is get in Cade York range, which is inside of 60. And you can at least have a legitimate shot to attempt to tie the ball game. But we talked about at the beginning, you made the decision to go for it. You were aggressive. Okay. I mean, you're on the road. Go be aggressive. Try to go win the game.
You're already fired.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. But I do think in that moment, you let Cade York kick the field goal. Now you don't need a touchdown to win the game.
It's definitely a weird thing where it's like, okay, you feel like you have to go for it because the context of your offense has been so bad. But also the argument for not going for it was that your defense had been so good.
Yep.
And the thing is, I think I fell into the trap, like probably many did, of thinking that the defense would not continue to be so good. And then the defense did, and ultimately then that not going for the field goal ends up being. And a lot of times, look, man, on those 50-50 choices like that where you can really make arguments for either decision, ultimately then the results do, I think, dictate. And I think that's fair. I think it's fair. I think the results dictate whether or not the original play call is right. So in that instance, although I understand why they went for it, ultimately it was the wrong decision given how the game played out.
Alabama, look, to your point about the defense, one more thing. LSU held Alabama to 308 total yards and 20 points.
This is an offense that was averaging 46 points a game.
You held them 26 under their per-game average and about 150 yards under their per-game yardage.
Durante Jones and them boys did their job.
This was their best game of the year. This was the defense's best game of the year by far. They were awesome tonight. With missing so many starters. I mean, the ESPN ran the graphic early in the game where they were down 8 starters, 8 guys who had at some point started on this defense. And a bunch of young dudes went out there and played their ass off.
So Danielle Montgomery talks about that. She says, we can't ignore these backup defensive players outplayed their hurt starters for most of the season. These boys came to ball tonight. They stepped up, dude. They stepped up for sure. I mean, I would have loved to see what this game looked like if you were at full strength, but credit to the young guys.
I think there's absolutely something to be said for guys that are talented players that are finally getting their shot that go and play with great effort, as opposed to guys that are more talented that feel like a lot's lost or maybe playing with a me agenda. I'm not singling out anybody individually because I don't like to do that at the college level when you're talking about amateurs, because I never want to question somebody's like effort or desire or drive or give a damn. But there are evident, like the Ole Miss game was atrocious. The one guy who was busting his ass and it was noticeable was Damone Clark. I mean, 20 tackles, and then we talked about the play at the goal line where he knocked the ball loose from Jerrion Ely. I mean, Damone Clark never quit in that game. So, I mean, there are instances where you can see guys giving amazing effort, and I respect that.
Van Lathan with another super chat. $10 says Rick Clausen wins this game.
Oh, Jesus.
Fuck Rick Clausen, dude.
Rick Clausen. Holy hell. All right, let's check in with y'all again. Still 343 hanging with us live on Facebook. Please share the post. Like the page, share the post. We appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up. All that's huge. YouTube, smash that like button. I said we could get over 1,000 likes. We're at about 1,400 people watching on YouTube.
We got 700 likes. 300 more likes, people. Let's do it. It helps us out. I hate it, but it helps us out.
Why do you hate it?
Slaves. I just hate having to repeat it all the time. But we're slaves to the algorithmic gods that control our lives, and therefore all we need you to do is pull that mouse cursor down just a little bit.
All right,
and hit that like button.
So we got 15 minutes left. Let's just do. I mean, we could do coach search stuff, or we could just do comments here for the next 15 minutes.
Let's do a little bit of coach search, and then we'll get into comments.
Do you want to talk? We can talk about the guys that are, because last week was really evidence of how a week's results can impact how we feel. Like Mel Tucker last week gained a ton of clout with the win over Michigan, and then this week, they go on the road to Purdue, have the big letdown, and lose. That's probably muted some of that talk this week, but I'm going to maintain, I think
your point, and I hate saying this, but I think your point has the slightest modicum of value, the tiniest little bit of legitimacy in that I think that Mel Tucker remains a really good candidate. I don't think one game decides anything, and that ultimately, if Mel Tucker is the guy, them losing was actually a positive thing. Because now they're out of the playoff, and therefore, if you want Mel Tucker, you can get Mel Tucker.
Yeah. It was not going to happen if he's in the playoff, because you're not going to wait until January to make a hire, because you got the December signing period. So you go through November, and this shit tends to work itself out, man. The pecking order, like if you're Cincinnati today, right? Like you're pumped that Michigan State lost because you probably move up a spot. And that Alabama didn't look great, But then again, Cincinnati didn't look great. They were in a dogfight against Tulsa. You know how I feel about that. Fuck Cincinnati. Group of 5. Kick rocks. Losers go.
How do you feel about the Arkin frauds?
Arkin frauds? Oh, you mean the team that needed 3 missed field goals to beat a shitty Mississippi State school? That lost to LSU? Arkin frauds, bro. That's what's going to prop up your argument. Arkin frauds. What are you going to say next week if LSU beats the Arkin frauds?
I'm going to say, fuck Arkansas, you fucking pussies.
Okay.
You fucking mountain-loving hillbilly pussies, eat it. No,
how about A&M? A&M beating Auburn 20-3. A&M's defense. That's the reason. So someone asked earlier, is LSU going to win out? No, I do think LSU will beat Arkansas next week in Baton Rouge. And I do think they'll beat ULM and get to bowl eligibility. I do not think LSU is going to beat A&M because I think A&M's defense has proven time and again they are the best defense in the SEC. Well, Georgia. So let me say that. Georgia's the best defense in the country. after Georgia, I think Arkansas is the best defense in the league. So A&M, I think it said Arkansas, A&M. I just think LSU is going to have a lot of trouble generating anything offensively against A&M in that game.
Dude, I just hope that LSU's defense can try to ball out like this again. Zach Williams says, T-Bob, you're drunk. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you ever watch the show. Nacho Man
are
says,
you new here?
Yeah, we're unjustifiable. He says.
At least you ditched the cigarillos.
And the mezcal. If you've noticed, I've been a very disciplined man since the mezcal night.
What game was that? Kentucky? Oh, that was Kentucky.
I think it was Kentucky.
Kentucky
which admittedly was a night to get deep in your cups, but yes, no, I've gone 1 drink per quarter since. Nacho Man says we're unjustifiably in a position we'd rather not be in, but the cream will rise to the top. There's the potential there. Nothing
in
this life is guaranteed.
It was very broad.
It is very vague, but he is, he's kind of talking about what we've talked about, Matt. He's trusting in the soil a little bit, right? Kind of the inherent power of LSU. Trey Beatty says, on Monday, will anyone ask Ogeron where these blitzes have been all season? So that is something that Jake hit on today that was or Jake hit on this week that I thought was very interesting. LSU, Matt. Like a simulated blitz where you rush 4 from a weird angle, but you're only bringing 4, right? Dave Aranda did it all the time. They bring 4, but it's like a safety's the 4th guy or a linebacker's 4th guy. LSU had never done that once this season. I don't know if they did tonight, but it certainly felt like they added guys tonight to the rush more than they had at any point in the season, and it paid dividends. Disappointingly, Matt, you know what the end of this game felt like? It felt like UCLA. In that it felt like Alabama – they banked on the fact, look, we're going to get after Max Johnson. We've been hitting him all night. We're going to fucking get after him. We're going to say, okay, can you make the right decision and can you deliver the throw? Like, he may be open, which he was, right? They were open. But can you make the decision quick enough and can you make the throw? And ultimately, like the UCLA game, Alabama was right in that Max was not able to.
Naramisha Ashara says, now we'll likely have Florida to fight off for a head coaching opening. They seem like the bigger dumpster fire than us right now.
They do seem like a bigger dumpster fire. I do agree with that.
But I think Dan Mullen's getting fired.
It seems like it, dude. How not after tonight? After the recruiting answer, the vibes, and then now into losing a Beamer in South Carolina, get your fucking ass beat. I mean, it feels like it's absolute.
So Florida came into this week, they were 4-4, and they legit should have won out in November. They have South Carolina. They got a non-conference layup. They've got Florida State, and there's another SEC game that I'm missing. One of the weak teams in the East, which is actually them now. Like they should have won out, finished 8-4. Maybe you win a bowl game, you go 9-4, and you feel like the opposite of last year when you lost out. This team should have won out. Instead, you go and lose at South Carolina. Scott Strickland hired Dan Mullen. He had him at Mississippi State, brought him to Florida, and as an AD, you always give your hires more rope because if you fire a coach, it's an indictment on you and your hiring ability.
Yeah.
So they're always going to give their hire more leeway. If you're Scott Strickland, I don't know how you look at this and say you can continue. I mean, it has devolved to this point where last year you were more competitive with Alabama than anyone in that SEC championship game with Kyle Trask.
And even this year you were there. I mean, think about that. This year before the implosion, you were right there.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's just how this – I mean, that's just the margins in major college football and shit, right? And what you're seeing at Florida is a fascinating chain explosion that it's just wild how fast the end can come, right? After that Alabama game, what were we all saying? Dan Mullen's a fucking genius. Yeah, Florida, maybe they're not as good as they were, but look at him. They were a throwing the ball team last year. Now they're running the ball.
Yeah.
They're running elitely. And now they're 4-5. And they're what? What are they now, like 2-9, 2-10, 3-10? In their last 13 against a Power 5 or something? It's something absolutely horrible. Maybe 3-8, 3-9, something along those lines. Either way, Florida's imploding. Like, there's just no other way around it. And to be frank, I don't know, Matt. I mean, do you think that Florida is a negative on the LSU coaching search? I mean, maybe it makes some guys some more money, but I don't think so.
I don't, because I don't think they'd be going after the same candidates. I'd put it to you this way. If Florida is looking for a coach, I think Florida would certainly look at Billy Napier. I don't think LSU is going to look at Billy Napier. And it's not to say Napier isn't a great coach and wouldn't do a great job here. I just don't think that that's a thing. I can tell you I've heard a lot of smoke around Billy Napier at Virginia Tech. If they end up moving on, that's one that I think.
Well, good. Then Fuente's finally going to end up at LSU. Right?
It's so funny, man. Like, Justin Fuente would have very much been in the mix at LSU in 2016, but for an enormous buyout after year one. He was just finished his first year at Virginia Tech, and had he not had an enormous buyout, there were a lot of people within that decision-making process that really liked Justin Fuente. But it was like you just paid less this enormous buyout, and they weren't going to pay a giant buyout to get Justin Fuente.
No, I mean, and it just shows you how fucking fraught with peril this entire decision is.
Yeah.
I mean, Scott Woodward cannot afford to get this wrong.
He won't.
Again, it's crazy. This is literally what Woodward's entire life has been leading up to. And I can't really put myself in those shoes because I cannot fathom my life's work being based on one decision despite all the good that I'd already done.
Some people talk about missed holding calls. I rarely, if ever, will I sit here on a post-game show and talk about officiating for missed subjective calls, because that can go both ways.
Exactly.
If you're the guy who's screaming at the TV about holding, you're looking for holding on every play.
Yeah.
Like, if something doesn't go your way, you're just begging for a hand up. And it's like, I just don't look at that. I mean, were there some? Probably. Could we flip it on its head and say there were some the other way? Yeah. I mean, I don't think today was poorly officiated. Bama was called for 9 penalties in their stadium. LSU was called for 6.
That's because LSU is the most disciplined team in the SEC, bro.
I think they have fewer. They on average have fewer than 6. I mean,
they're
like
4. They're at least in the SEC.
Yeah.
Alabama's 10th. Fucking undisciplined assholes,
dude. I mean, look, this game was so even, man. Total yardage 308 to 295. Penalties 9 to 6. Third down conversions. LSU converted 5. Bama converted 4. LSU went for it 7 times on fourth down.
They were 4 or 5 at one point.
LSU was 5 of 7 on fourth down in this ballgame. Total plays, LSU ran 73, Bama ran 63. Average yards per play, LSU 4, Bama 4.9. I mean, so much of the time of possession, LSU 31 minutes and change, Bama 28 minutes, almost 29 minutes. I mean, the difference, the biggest difference, sacks, LSU 4, Bama 5. Tackles for loss, both teams had 8. I mean, it was almost identical. Each team lost a fumble. The difference is the turnovers. That's the difference in the ball game. I mean, Bama got 13 points off of 2 turnovers. Ultimately, that's it. You needed to steal possessions from them. Instead, you gave them 2 possessions, and they turned both of them into 13 points. I mean, that's
yeah.
Everything else was equal except that. That's what cost you the game.
And it's crazy, right? Because all things being equal, it should never have been equal.
Yeah.
Right? LSU's down all of their starters on defense. They're down their greatest weapons on offense, and yet they still had it 20-14. So, in a lot of ways, this – if it wasn't the context of LSU and where we expect to be, this should have been this is an impressive night. This is a team that vastly outperformed our expectation for them and the expectation most likely for themselves. Yet in the end, it doesn't matter. You got to win the fucking game.
Shout out to @BRPage on Twitter. You will love this. He said, T-Bob, I got the photo. Matt, where you at? When I stiffed you on the high five, he paused it and high-fived you and took a picture. That's really well done. You're getting a retweet.
Let's go.
Really well done.
Dude.
Y'all tweet at us your pictures watching Whiskey and Wine.
My fucking dude. PR page.
Nyquillis, what's up, man? Nyquillis is watching. Tweeted us a picture. Matthew Rogelio, what's up? We appreciate it. Y'all know the drill, man. Tweet us a picture. We'd love to retweet you. We appreciate so much, seriously, everybody hanging out with us on Saturdays. It's been
it's been awesome, man. This is super fun. If nothing else, this is always super fun.
I told people every week, man, or all year, I don't know what this is, but somebody's toasting something to I don't know. What is this, man? Fred's West at Little Woodrow's. Paul Batts. What's up?
My eyes are going bad, man. It stressed me the fuck out, dude.
Go see Dr. Blake Williamson.
I guess that's what I'm going to have to do.
Great dude, bro.
Hey,
Frank
Williams
Fitting.
and I is going to do lives with us, and I'll do that then.
Jake had his surgery over there, too.
He did. Man, what a
Matt Alamon, what's up? Appreciate everybody, man.
What a
Thanks for
depressing
watching.
reminder of our inevitable march towards death, losing your eyesight is.
Well, I lost my eyesight in the 6th grade. So, I was
in
wearing.
the 6th grade?
Yeah, I was fucking wearing glasses. My sister was wearing glasses at 5 years old.
Oh, wow.
It's just genetics, bro. You know what the worst part about it is?
Nerd.
Ever since I was a kid, my dentist has always been like, man, you have amazing teeth. Your genetics, my teeth, I've never had a cavity in my life. I have genetically I have great teeth, but everything else sucks. I'm bald. I can't see. I'm chubby. I can't build muscle. It's like everything else sucks. My prime was a minute, in my 20s. But whatever.
You were like, hey, ladies, look at these fucking teeth.
Right? That's my point. How much does that suck when you're
look at how fucking strong my molars are.
What if you genetically, if you had great hair? You know what I mean?
You can't.
You
can't move that thing.
Even if everything else was bad, if you had great hair, if everything else was bad, but you had you were 6'3" and had great muscle, whatever.
It's a lot easier to get veneers than it is to regrow your. I feel you on that, dude. I feel, I know many people. Look, while yes, I agree that Freddie Freeman's veneers were the most distracting part of the World Series, his teeth do look perfect. So, I kind of get it a little bit. T-Bob, can you teach the big girl? Oh, there's a lot of big girl talking there. I stepped into that. That's on me. Nope, can't do that. T-Bob, Hester said Evangel's better than Calico. It comes from Big Gary and Bozier. Matt, any response?
I think Catholic's beaten Evangel the last 2-3 times they played. Evangel's not good anymore. I think we're just about done, right,
yeah,
Jake?
I think we are about.
All right,
done.
y'all. Listen, we're about to get out of here. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much to Don Juan Cigar Bar for hosting us. Thank you to Michelli Weighing and Measurement.
AccuTempBR.com. You already know, baby.
We appreciate, thanks to Jake Barty for setting the whole thing up and making us stay on air or on the internet, whatever. Y'all have an awesome night. One more reminder, Facebook, do us a solid. Please don't be a square. Hit the like and share. And YouTube, smash that like. But did we get over 1,000 likes on YouTube?
We're at 809.
We'll get there by the morning, I'm sure. We'll wake up tomorrow. It'll be there. So, all right, guys, we're out of here. If you want more postgame, Hanny and Condon, that disaster's coming up next on Eagle 98.1.
I'm not speaking English. I'm not pushing Napier.
I'm not pushing Napier. Oh, God, I want to go get my car right now and listen to those two. $100 says Condon within the first 100 words he speaks brings up 1993 and 1982 LSU-Alabama.
Yeah, no, he brought up Pigs Fly all week, and he was almost right, dude. This was the anniversary this year, 28 years or whatever it was.
All right, next week we're back here for LSU
But you
Arkansas.
said you'd be okay with it. See?
Okay.
Okay.
See y'all.
Okay, I told you. Later, y'all. Love y'all.